Welcome, everyone, to Rebirth, a D&D tale, Session 3. Last we left off, our party of adventurers had received a bit of a task that Rune, one of their companions, had one of his acquaintances, Orman Ironhand, had set them upon to visit the hills in the south of the island to look at the giant crystal and investigate and hopefully bring back some samples for Orman's experiments. And so the 7 of them collected themselves together and hitched a ride with a merchant towards the central hills south of the Seameat Canal city. And in this sleepy little town, consisting of maybe a half dozen homes and some farmland and stories of the hill being haunted, they start a new day. Their daily allotments finished, getting themselves prepared, and are nearing ready to set themselves on the course for this trail leading upwards the hill. When you look at the hill on the horizon, you see the crystals kind of jutting out from it in a large crystalline structure, just kind of jutting out from the center on the horizon as the morning sun kind of lifts high in the sky. The crystal sort of glistens in the sunlight. It's a very pretty sight to see. And from this distance, you can only imagine that it gets even more beautiful as you get closer. And the 7 of you are kind of looking towards the hill. You don't see any kind of paved roads that any animals of burden like horses or mules or anything like that would be able to climb up. This seems like a single file trail as you kind of look towards where most people start up on this hill. It's heavily wooded. It's fairly narrow trails. There may be some stepping stones in some places, but it looks like from the entry here that this is a more of a well-trodden trail than it is a road leading up to the top. And so this is where all of you stand at the moment. Kind of at the entryway to this trail.
Is it just one hill?
It's kind of a large and wide hill, but it is fairly not necessarily super thick woods, but it is wooded enough and rocky enough that it's not necessarily, it wouldn't be necessarily tall enough to be classified a mountain, but it is kind of a rough terrain in that way, that it's rocky, that there's very little in the way of paved road. There's thick trees, very tall trees, that kind of, especially here at the base, and it's not tall enough to have a kind of snowy tree line. And And the crystal structure that you do see towards the top, the woods do start to get a little thinner, but that's because it's replaced by the crystalline rocks.
We didn't bring our cart and donkeys, did we?
The trail's close enough to the little town that you could leave them there if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, I'm just kind of assuming that's what we did if we thought it would be rough going. I just wanted to verify we don't have a cart hanging behind us.
No, that's you would have been informed that it's fairly treacherous. That you know kids go up there. It's safe enough to get X amount high, but then it starts to get really dangerous. You know,
So is it onwards and upwards, everyone?
I suppose so.
Unless you want to find another trail.
Better than upwards and outwards.
Well, I mean, I'm not exactly the one I think. I'm not sure I could find another trail. Is another trail an option? Like, is there something about this one that concerns you? Just want to be sure. And she stares up at you, Lagon.
And he just stares down. I'm only curious if there's more than one.
Do you think it would be unwise to take the well-trodden one? Should we look for an alternative? She'll kind of look around to everybody.
I mean, do we see another other than the well-trodden path?
make a perception check.
Was I the only one who couldn't hear him?
Oh, I didn't hear anything either.
Okay, I think you're
I was.
Yeah, there you
go. That is a +1 would be a natural or 18.
18. Okay.
Yeah.
You kind of look around, kind of eyeing the base of this structure, this hill that you're about to climb up. You've kind of been going up and down hills, getting to this place. It is a little more elevated compared to sea level where you were at this particular spot, but the this particular hill seems to go much taller than the rest, and when you kind of look around, it is very wide at the base, but you're sure that you could enter in anywhere into the woods, but as far as safer trails, you don't really see that. Nothing is stopping you from going into the woods and kind of going up the side of the hill straightwise, but you're going to have a difficult time with that. You know that for sure.
Half well-traveled seems wise.
Certainly works for me.
Yeah. Get started then.
So, who wants to go first? At the head of the line.
And Vanya's gonna move forward to start going up.
Shay will stick right behind Vanya, wherever she settles.
Rune will actually insist Rune will actually insist I will go first.
Fair enough.
Alright, I'll be right behind Vanya and, I'm sorry, Shay.
And then you said something, Kennyone?
I said I had a +4 to survival, which apparently works guiding my group through frozen wastelands.
This wouldn't necessarily be considered a frozen wasteland. This is more of a wooded area for those whose terrain benefits would actually benefit. This is
Yeah,
considered.
it seems very weird that that's the only terrain actually mentioned in the describal of survival.
Oh, weird. But yeah, this particular area would be considered wooded terrain for those who it matters to. And
Cool.
so in we do have a ranger on board. Do you have any abilities that kind of give you any kind of perk when it comes to woodland terrain?
I do.
Ooh.
Natural explorer, and I chose forest.
Oh, okay. So what does that do?
You have a favorite terrain type. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for your proficient skills when you make an int or wisdom check related to it while traveling for an hour or more in your chosen terrain. Difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel. Your group can't become lost except by magical means. You remain alert to danger even when you are engaged in another activity. You move stealthily at a normal pace while alone. Find twice as much food while foraging and while tracking creatures, and learn the exact numbers, sizes, and how long ago they passed through the area.
Oh, okay. So in kind of while Rune is taking the lead, you're kind of doing a lot of guiding him through the difficult terrain. This is and you can see the best places to step. You can tell the rest of the group to follow exactly your footsteps, and the what would otherwise slow most people who are not familiar with the treachery of forest terrains, especially those that are thick. The group isn't really slowed down at all. It's a fairly, you are able to walk at a fairly good pace, and keep the group from falling into any of the trappings that would befit untrained explorers of this kind of terrain. And it's good because there are a couple times where some of your companions lose their footing on a very narrow kind of part of the trail, but you are quick to find handholds and solid ground and tread through the thick roots without any issue. And all of you kind of take note that Vanya is incredibly keen on where each and every one of you is at all times. And anything that she determines would be of any kind of edibility, she collects into her pack and along the trail. That, should it be usable for medicine? Should it be usable for consuming for food? Anything that she deems worthy of picking up, she is able to spot it and collect it without issue. Stopping for lunch, she's prepared a collection of extra nuts and berries that would keep you all from actually having to spend a ration today. So, in that regard, and so she's you definitely get the sense that she has spent a lot of time learning about forest wildlife and the different kind of survival mechanisms that she would need in this kind of terrain. Maybe she spent a lot of time doing this as a child, or she's specifically taken it up as a trade. Who knows, really? Haven't really had a chance to ask her. But she is definitely very skilled and might even make, some of you have maybe some inquisitive minds might ask questions.
Mm.
Well, Vanya, I don't know, we didn't really spend that much time in the woods, but I didn't, know you fancied them so well.
Yeah, I was drawn to them even after I left home. Traveling around Islamire and all those other places, you gotta learn the woods.
Oh, well, it's very new to me, so I feel much better having you around.
You'll get used to it. I'm sure.
Maybe. We shall see. I'm not against it.
Is everything you picked up edible, or is any of that medicinal, Vanya?
A little bit of both. There's some things that qualify as both, some things one or the other. Depends on what we need.
Can you show me?
And she's gonna pull out a couple of them and kind of point out what they were and whether they're food, medicine, if they're medicine, what it's technically for.
She would have been able to dish out lunch to everybody, but everything else that she's got collected still is medicinal in nature. And
Okay.
and it's mostly for like salves, it's mostly for disinfectant, it's mostly for, the kinds of purposes that, not necessarily mechanically that you would heal any hit points, but would keep from, for instance, from not a cure poison, but like a lessen the length kind of a thing. Like if you were to be poisoned to an end of the day, for instance, she might be able to lessen the time of some of these things.
Well, how's everybody else doing?
Quite fine, thank you.
Although, Vanya, you are seeing evidence, since your ability does give you the ability to detect creatures that have passed by and potentially how long ago. You do see evidence of both smaller snakes and giant snakes that that the barkeep Malpheus had mentioned.
Right. Guys, we're gonna have to be a little careful.
Oh?
Snakes.
Oh.
Hopefully we don't run into the larger ones I'm seeing trails of.
By larger, what do you mean by larger? Like I've seen like the typical in like books, but when you say larger,
Some of them could swallow you.
How big are the trails?
he's joking, right? None of this swallowing people nonsense, right?
How big are the trails I'm seeing for the giant ones?
Right now, you're seeing them. The expertise that you have, you see lots of trails of what you would probably think to be constrictor snakes, and similar to that, you would see evidence of giant constrictor snakes, to the point of they are quite large, and they could easily swallow any one of your friends in a single gulp if they wanted to.
That's why I wanted to double check. Yeah, no, Shay, he's not joking.
Oh, well, I will definitely be staying in the middle then.
Some of them are big enough they could probably swallow me whole.
These would probably fit that. They're huge.
Oh. Okay, so just a little bit bigger than, say, those jellyfish. Just a little. spooky snakes.
Yeah, so just be careful. Keep an eye out. Or an ear, or both.
I mean, I know they always say, like, be careful. You don't want to, like, step on one. They can hide on the underbrush. But, like, how easy could one, like, that big to swallow Lagan be? Like, how sneaky could they really be?
Their scales are designed to help them hide and camouflage so that you don't notice or see them.
Remember,
Hell, for the size they are, they could be hidden and disguised as rocks.
Well,
bears live in the woods too, Shay, and you don't see them all the time, now do you?
No, that's true.
These are rather large, but same point. They're
okay.
They literally can blend in with their environment because they live out here.
Okay. Okay.
Stay near Lagan.
Just keep an eye out for anything that slithers out.
Oh, and
Eyes for slither.
If I have any hint on this, keep an eye above us too, because trees.
So in that case, as you continue on, you finish your lunch, having stopped in a fairly broad portion of the trail. Having finished your lunch, you continue forward, and anyone who would like to can make a perception check. And Vanya, I'm going to allow you to do that at a... Are you proficient in that skill?
I am.
Use double your proficiency.
Ooh, +10 to me.
Dirty
You
20.
want an extra D4 with guidance.
21.
15.
That'd be
17.
12.
17.
As we're walking away, I want to kind of just minor illusion a snake across the path.
Oh no.
21. 21.
Now, minor illusion doesn't let you project the essence of a giant constrictor snake, but you do create the illusion of leaves and a couple of things kind of slithering by, especially near Shay's feet. Shay, that's the first thing that you see.
I found one! I found one! Look, I got one. It's right there.
And just
Right
as
there. I see it.
just as you're pointing it out, I'm sure Darius concludes the illusion and it's disappeared, and when you look back, Shay, it's gone.
Oh my god, Lagan, you weren't fucking kidding! The scales, it just disappeared! You weren't kidding. It really does work like that. At least it wasn't a big one. Whew, okay.
The rest of you do
Sure,
see
it's
this
gone
little
now.
bit of the rest of you do see this little bit of that happening, but also keeping your eyes out, just going through the rest of this trail, kind of keeping your eyes out for more of those little buggers, and even the giant ones. Vanya keeping an eye towards the treetops and really kind of honing in her eyes to the surroundings around her. And you do see, when you look, you do see that some of the smaller snakes are a little bit more readily visible when you go looking. And so you're able to, with the assistance of all of your friends here, each of you are able to spot some of the smaller snakes and be able to avoid them. Some of them, when you look back at them, Vanya, do look like they are the venomous type. So you have seen some venomous snakes in this area then.
Oh joy. That's just going to add to the issues then.
they hostile to us?
No, most of them stay either slither away or when they try to snap, they're easy to quell or to shoo away and avoid for the rest of their walk.
Most of them don't want to fool with us.
The smaller ones are typically, they're more afraid of you than you are of them.
I could attempt to
Usually.
speak with them and see if they know of any larger, more aggressive snakes nearby.
You can do that?
Yes.
That's fascinating. I would very much love to know what they say.
Okay, so I would like to cast Speak with Animal.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And then try to ask the snakes if they know of any threats nearby.
Most of what you get when you approach a snake is one is very very much hissing at you as you start to approach, and when you cast the spell to allow yourself through the divineness of nature, the you start to speak. From what everybody else hears, it doesn't sound like he's saying much. He's not really making much in the way of noises. It's more kind of, you see him appropriate some body language, much like another snake would imitate to a friendly. Vanu, you would know kind of a little bit of this, that he's mimicking the movements of a non-threat, and it's almost as if he's doing this without really having to know the kind of creature that he's talking to. It's almost as if it seems instinctual. And Kinman, when you make the kind of movements and tiny sounds that that would question this snake about whether or not they have seen any large threats, the first thing that it indicates is you.
Of course it does.
It's very surprised. It's very much in a sort of way, I was walking here first and you walked near me. You are a large creature.
Could I be able to get the idea across that we mean them no harm and we merely wish to get up to the crystal?
Just follow the road. You kind of get that's what it means, because to a snake this might seem like a wide road, a well-trodden by humanoids road that somehow the people of this place have carved a road into the land in a way. Stay near the people road and you'll get there. But I stay away. And it starts to sort of slither off and slink back into the forest grounds.
You are right. They were scared of us. I tried to convince them we weren't a threat, but I'm not sure if that worked. But they did know that we should stick to the human road.
Well, that was kind of the plan anyway, wasn't it?
Seems like a very cool thing that you can do, though, just to be clear.
It is
Can you
amazing.
do that
being able-
with
It is
with any
amazing.
animal?
Um, as long as they're not hostile to me, I believe. Yes.
Yep, and so long as the spell is in
That is
concentration,
cool.
you can contact you can you can speak with any animal in the vicinity to you that that the spell
It's
would
not
cover.
concentration.
Oh, it's not?
It's 10 minutes. Yep, it's just 10 minutes.
Okay, so just last 10 minutes. And does it make you declare who you're talking to, or does it not?
No, it just says you gain the ability to comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts for the duration.
Oh, okay. So from from a little bit away, you kind of see that Zephyr, you're able to read his language, that he's on guard, that he's kind of keeping his eye out, that he's kind of keeping close to Vanya's to near Vanya without getting tripped over as he can. That he doesn't say much right now, but that's definitely the kind of body language that you can read from him. As
I could go up to him and tell him that the small snakes are no threat.
snakes are no threats. Got it. I can talk to you. And he kind of gives you this almost like a face that you would think that someone confused might make. But to the rest of you, it's just a little bit of head tilting back and forth between Kinwin and Zephyr. Maybe a little yips, and Zephyr's kind of panting happily a little bit, and he kind of looks to you, Kinwin. Curious. You're a funny man.
It is the magic of nature. I cast a spell, and for 10 minutes, we can speak.
He just kind of cocks his head at you. I don't know what you mean. You're just a funny man. You're a funny man. Like the big guy. You make funny hand gestures. It's kind of fun. And he kind of bobs a little bit back and forth. Play?
Sure. And I'd like to pick up a stick on the ground and throw it.
And Zephyr will go after the stick for a moment.
Are you corrupting my dog?
It was his suggestion.
Fair.
Zephyr brings it back and hands it to you, Vanya.
She's gonna toss it for him again.
And he
We'll
goes,
have some fun on the trip.
and he goes kind of bounding into the woods a little bit. Probably a little further than you had anticipated. And then you hear a hissing sound.
She's going to immediately call him back.
And he immediately starts coming back without the stick.
I was waiting for it. And everybody roll initiative.
No snakeskin boots.
I did.
Do we all
exactly
hear
like
this
that.
hissing sound?
You all hear the hissing sound, but Kinwin, when Zephyr returns, he says, "Nope, nope, not worth, not worth. Moving on."
Is it a big snake?
Something hissed. I don't know what. I not worth, not worth it. I don't like forests. Too many things. And so he just kind of goes back to sitting next to you, or walking next to you, Vanya.
She's gonna reach out and give him a little scratch on the head. I know, sound was scary.
And he definitely kind of leans into that and is a little bit calmer. What you can see, Kenwin, knowing that Vanya is nearby.
We'll play more when we get back to the village.
Waiting that way might be best. There's unknown threat in that area, possibly.
Yeah, I'd rather not find out what made that sound.
Rune would pipe up. I think it is best that we continue to move on.
I agree.
He's finished making notes in a notebook. From what you can see, he closes it and kind of tucks it into a pocket again. Onward.
Yes. And Vanya's gonna follow behind.
And he once again takes the lead and continues forward. And this trail kind of winds a little bit, kind of hairpins on itself a little bit, but continues to make the trek upward. And it's, even though the terrain isn't very rough, those of you who are maybe a little weaker constitution are starting to feel it in the calves of your legs. You're starting to feel a little bit weary, not exhausted by any means, but you're starting to feel a little bit of that ache. And the day is starting to wear on a little bit, and you know that you're coming up. You can see that you're coming up on the base of the where the sort of large crystal, like smaller crystal rocks start to form. You see like the occasional smaller ones near the trail now, kind of off the trail a little bit. And you see that there's some that are very small, and as you continue to go up, they're going to get larger and larger. But you can see some that are about the size of Lagon's fist at this moment.
Were we given a particular size for these crystals to bring back? For the...
Yeah, he was saying that he wanted some that were, kind of like the size of your fist and larger.
Well, the first one the size of my fist I see, I'm going to try and pick up. I've heard they're incredibly difficult, so...
Yes, they are.
Lagon wants to find out just how difficult they are to pick up.
Okay. Roll me a strength check, just to determine how much effort you're putting into this.
Great strength. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Strength plus 2. 18.
All of you see that Lagon goes to put his hands around this kind of fist-size rock that's crystalline in nature, and you see that he's putting a lot of effort into trying to yank it up out of the ground, but it doesn't move.
Curious.
So are we gonna settle here for the night? Is that what we're thinking?
Could be.
Mm.
Well, I'm just wondering if we're not planning to move further. I wonder if maybe it's difficult to pull out because there's much more to it. So I was thinking maybe, taking like a dagger and see if we can't excavate a little bit around it just to determine that. I'd be curious to see if you could dig all the dirt from around it and it's just floating there and you still can't pick it up.
Well, Lagon was going to take his hand and see if he can move the earth around it to see if there's something.
Yep, you do so to even
If
get your
it's
grip.
loose earth, I can use mold earth to move it up to 5 feet away.
Even with Kinwin's help, you kind of go around the rim of the rock, and even mold earth will allow you to move some of the earth that's out from underneath it. But this rock just continues to fall in its place. It's even if you take dirt out from underneath it, it quickly weighs down on your fingers as you try to do so, or even weigh down on the magic as you try to do so, and flop where you've removed earth.
Does it make a chunky sound when it hits when it falls down?
Much like any other rock that's dropped into dirt.
Okay. I was just curious if it was different.
Would a nature check be any useful on the crystal?
You can make me a nature check if you'd like.
Are there any others kind of off to the side? Any other little crystal
This is
bits?
kind of the first one you've seen. This first one that you've seen of this size. So there's others
Just
around, but they're
curious.
very sparse. And what was the result, Kinwin?
10.
10. Yeah, it's strange even to you. This isn't the kind of rock that you grew up near. As far as nothing like this was anywhere near Surefall Glades, and you've only been on your journey for a short amount of time and haven't really come across anything outside of the Glades besides that. So this is strange to you.
Lagon is going to lean down with his finger and tap the rock. Hello?
It doesn't seem to say anything.
Seeing Lagon talk, but then also seeing like what Kinwin had done earlier, talking to the animals, I'm gonna go up to it. And, can I pick you up? And go to try and please, and then try and pick it up.
If you want to try a persuasion check.
Scent.
Persuade the rock.
Persuade the rock. 16.
It doesn't make any indication that it's heard you or that it understands what you're talking about, but you go to lift it, and what is your strength score?
+1.
No. Even putting in more effort than it seemed that Lagon did, you cannot lift it.
What if we both like more than one person trying, maybe?
We can try. I don't know how much good it's going to do, but Lagon will get on the other side.
Yep.
What were you going to say?
I would like to spend 10 minutes to do a ritual for detect magic.
Ooh. All right. So, your Tabaxi friend sits on the ground, starts pulling out some implements, and starts to mutter some things under his breath, and kind of seems in a bit of thought and concentration, while Lagon and Darius get on both sides of this rock again, and the both of you lift, and one of you can make an athletics check at advantage.
Hey, Vanya, would you have ever ritually cast anything while we were together?
Ooh.
No.
So Shay might be interrupting River.
Yeah, that's a natural 20. Plus 4, so 24.
You and Darius go to dig your fingers underneath the dirt once more. This heavy, heavy specimen, just kind of weighing on your fingers as you do for a moment, and you 3, 2, 1 lift, and nothing. River, you're still kind of doing a bit of your ritual. You're kind of making the appropriate you're wishing to know the appropriate knowledge that the land can provide you as far as information, but it's not a quick process when you're having to sit down and do it. And of course, Shay has delightfully come up and is a curious being.
Yeah, she stands there quietly at first, just kind of maybe in your peripheral. Doesn't want to be a bother because you seem focused, but she's still just kind of like watching.
Vanya's keeping an eye on Shay, just like, you start questioning things, I'm gonna pull you away from him.
So,
I have a curious mind, I'm sorry.
what do your rituals look like, River?
For River, so he would sit down. He would lay out a crystal that he wears around his neck, and he would just place materials for the ritual in like a semicircle in front of him, and do some quiet chanting while he does.
Are these implements specific for detect magic, or are these just your implements in general?
These are just implements in general, because detect magic does not need material.
Oh, okay. So what does your focus look like? You said it was a crystal.
It is a crystal on a chain that he has been wearing. It's a gem called Tiger's Eye. Conveniently enough.
So it has kind of an orange look to it with a bit of a black stripe through the middle. It's kind of roughly. It's not even polished. It's just kind of rough. It's.
It is polished. It was a gift to him actually. He had gotten it from an admirer in the gladiatory arena. Just someone in the audience, but he thought the gesture was nice, so he kept it.
And it works as a focus for your druid your druid powers, because while it's polished, it's not really a cut stone. It's kind of a little roughly hewn. It's kind of in its natural state, if a little glisten, but mostly in a natural form. And so you kind of use the crystal as a kind of focus for the different things that you would require when it comes to the magic. And after about 10 minutes, Shay, you would see that there is a slight kind of almost orangish glow that comes from the tiger's eye pendant, and and River, your spell finishes, and when you see into the kind of weave that the that nature provides around you, you when you see when you look at the rocks that Lagon and Darius have been, trying to lift, but have had no no real no real success, you do see a faint glowing in an aura around the crystalline rocks. There is a magical presence here. You normally detect magic would have you being able to detect what school the magic is, but this seems, it almost seems unreadable. Like it's not a commonly used magic. This is older than some of the schools of magic that you particularly know, because you know that you're not arcane studied particularly, but you do know that there are different varieties of magic, and you've cast this spell several times before, and each of them has a sort of different color to them. You would think the closest thing that you can maybe guess at is some kind of protection quality, like an abjuration. But it doesn't look like the traditional abjuration that you see, say, in that you've seen in the kinds of styles that the clan of druids that you've spent a lot of time with practice. It's different than that, but the same. It's strange looking at it.
The stone has some sort of protective elements to it. It's old magic, though.
Lagon, not having heard this and getting frustrated trying to pick it up, is going to take his warhammer and smash it. See what happens.
Make me an attack roll.
Natural 20, so 24.
How?
Jesus.
You wind up. You wind up and you're frustrated. So you go in, and with every bit of your might, you smash the hammer onto the crystal. Nothing.
As I was saying, it has a protective aura to it.
Well, shit.
What was that, River?
The stone, it's protective. It's protective. It's some form of old magic that prevents it from being harmed.
Interesting.
Yeah. Perhaps we should continue on to the larger rock.
Night in the dark?
Is it dark?
I see fine.
It is getting close to dark. So you could probably make it to the larger structure by dark, but that's about where you'll be.
And then we'll have to set up camp. It might be best to go ahead and set up camp here and try to talk to the bigger rock tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sounds okay to me.
Lagan will, of course, throw his bedroll to Shay.
Oh, I was afraid to ask, but thank you. Oh, River, thank you. Are you sure? Are you sure you don't need it? Either of you.
We're fine. And River will create a bonfire.
Okay, Shay shuffles off with her three
Before Shay
bedrolls.
leaves, Lagan looks down and says, if I get cold, perhaps I'll put on boots.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Have you worn boots before? She kind of stops mid-stride, like the curious thought suddenly hits her.
He takes his pack and pulls out a pair.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you just didn't have any. So that's a personal preference?
They hurt my feet.
If you don't mind my asking.
They hurt my feet. They're not comfortable.
Well, then I think it should be a priority we get you better fitting boots.
There's not going to be any better fitting boots.
Oh, I'm sure I can find somebody to do some custom work for you. I'm certain of it.
Captain Badger had these custom made for me before I left the ship. They don't.
Oh, so it's...
They don't feel right. They're not comfortable.
She always told me it was because he had 2 left feet.
They're just I don't like them. They don't feel right.
I mean, there's no shame in not knowing how to dance.
Oh, I know how to dance. It's just kind of hard to dance with somebody that's a quarter of your size without stomping on them.
Well, and a quarter of your size probably equates to just about everybody, huh?
When you're 8 feet tall and everybody else is not even over 4, it's kind of hard to dance when you're not stepping on somebody.
I don't know. Might be a challenge accepted. We'll see. And then she will shuffle off.
Only 2 feet and 2 inches higher than me. We can dance.
I don't know how well that'll work.
Yeah, you're only 2 feet taller than me. Might not be so much of a challenge.
I think you and Moon could probably pull off some dances.
I do not dance.
I hear no music.
I can fix that.
I minor illusion
It's just
a
not
little
to
tune.
suggest the same.
And at that, Vanya's gonna pull out her guitar and just start playing somewhat of a tune that they could dance to if they actually wanted to.
Shall we dance by the fire?
doesn't dance. Shay was the only one that really offered. Did River offer, or was that Kinwin?
River is now offering. Shall we dance?
Okay. Yes. Lagan will take River's offer to dance.
River is over to watch.
6'4", so he's not too much shorter.
This is what, performance?
Yes, I want each of you to make a performance check.
Oh God.
Oh. 17.
13.
11.
Ugh.
You
know, Captain Badger always accused you of having 2 left feet, Lagan. But it seems that River has worse.
You know, it's my style. I have different type of legs than you.
See, Lagan's doing a polka, you're doing a tango.
Doesn't matter as long as they're having fun, though.
Yeah, your legs been funny. That's. Lagan looks down at River's legs, and yeah, your legs just bend real funny.
It's It's the way the feet are. My feet is mostly toes.
Anya's gonna
And
look down
I
at
guess
Zephyr while
right
she's
here-
playing, make a motion towards Shay, and Zephyr's gonna go over and start nudging Shay towards Darius.
And Zephyr kind of leads you, Shay, kind of through your feet, kind of ducking through your ankles and everything, and nudges you that way.
She'll take his hand and she will say, "Look, I've studied dancing. I make no promises.
Same.
Study. It is theory. Theory only." And then yeah, she'll dance.
Performance check, both of you.
I don't trust my little dice.
Performance. Ooh, dirty 20.
3 with a natural 1.
Oh no! Oh no!
Theory.
Mine was 17 with a -1. Damn.
Darius, you are the epitome of suave.
You did me dirty.
As you pull out some really good moves to the beat of Vanya's guitar playing, and when you reach your hand out and you pull Shay into kind of a spin at the climax of the song, her hand slips out of yours and she goes near tumbling to the ground, but you are quick as a rogue should be, because you immediately are able to catch her in a bit of a flourish. But
And
the continued
like that
motion
little,
is
yeah,
she's got
that little spin to like almost
Yes.
where you catch, what is it, for Dirty Dancing, where they like almost drop down and then catch them at the last minute. Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
She didn't do it on purpose.
Shay is almost beet red, 1 from embarrassment, and 2 from the flourish. She kind of just, sorry, and thank you. That was theory. I told you, theory.
The secret is, don't let them know that you don't know what you're doing.
Oh.
Just
Of course
act
I-
like you do.
All right,
Fake
I
it
did
till
it
you
on
make it.
purpose. I did it
Exactly.
on purpose then. Yeah. Yep. Hear that? Yep.
And you
See?
continue
I
to
gotcha.
dance,
I got
and-
everybody.
And you continue
Thought
to
I was
dance.
embarrassed.
It seems as if she can't keep tempo, though.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
It's so hard to keep tempo,
Two.
Shay.
So
You're
annoying.
so embarrassed.
I'm just following your advice. I'm just following his advice. See? This is on purpose. Everybody.
At,
It's waltz.
at some
Totally on
point,
purpose.
River will step over to Darius and be like, "Switch," and offers and takes Shay's hand and gestures for Darius to go dance with Lagan.
Let's go.
Shay will kind of whisper up to River, like, seriously, I obviously don't know what I'm doing.
Why not?
It's okay.
All right, I suppose, shall I try again?
Why not?
Do we need to roll again?
Sure, if you want to.
Oh, I mean, I'm happy with being thoroughly awful the rest of the night, if that's how it's got to be.
You can redeem yourself if you want.
15.
Three with a natural 1.
Oh no!
11 this time.
While Shay is getting a little bit of redemption by switching dance partners, it seems as if the curse has transferred to you, Darius, as you immediately stumble over your own feet, and Lagan has to catch you. Your tail must have got
See-
caught on a root or something.
Yeah. See, you don't let them know that you're screwing up. Go with
She's
the flow.
just like,
act
"Look,
like I
doing
meant to
it."
do it.
Yeah. Oh.
I cannot wait to see the art for this.
I'm working on it.
There's art? Are you sure?
It's a woo. Come on.
No,
I've
at some
already
point,
started.
we just need to let this downgrade to what's the word?
You start
The
line
word.
dancing instead.
Yeah, there you go.
Good old fashioned hoedown.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Well, delightful. And Rune is just... It seems as if his eyes are just watching each and every one of you as you do this. It looks as if he's taking copious mental notes. But he's just simply standing there for a moment and just looking at all of you curiously.
Lagan is just taking the moment and enjoying the time that he has with these people.
Yes, indeed. Well, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm getting a little peaked myself.
Yes,
We should do this again, though, right? Because, like, I know at least for me, you can't get any worse. I'm not sure I could get any worse.
Sure I could.
And the sun is, well past the horizon now, and it's getting into night. And the crystals that you do see around you are kind of glistening in the starlight and the moonlight, and with Sehanine kind of coming up over the horizon, the moon just kind of has a very full and white glow that just kind of penetrates through the darkness. It's a fairly full moon as of right now, and with
Lagan will take first watch and take some time to study the rock that he was trying to pick up and the rock he tried to smash.
all right.
And Vanya at this time would have switched over to the, lullaby.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else.
And Rune kind of takes his typical sentry position, kind of watching over the entire little camp, having all of you kind of built a fire and gotten things settled in for the night. It is rather chilly. It's a fairly chilly night for spring, and so those of you who have your extra bits of clothing and things like that, you start to pile it on top of yourself because you get a little bit cold as a result. It's not winter cold, but you've definitely spent a couple of nights out in the wilds, and keeping that fire going is perhaps the key important part at this time. And Rune has made sure that he's continually making sure it has fuel so that it keeps the whole area warm with that soft orange glow. And Lagan, you take watch with Rune in sentry mode, and he's more or less gone quiet for the night. And if you'd like, you can make a perception check.
$24.
Anything that you see that comes anywhere close. You're keeping out an eye out for snakes. The seems to be the primary animal kind of source out here, aside from the occasional hooting of an owl that you spot. The owls are far and away. They're barely even audible, but you keep an eye out for any snakes. You kind of chase them away with a bit of firewood if they get too close, and stick the wood back into the fire as when you've chased them away. And your watch ends, and it's a couple of hours into the night. Who's taking second watch?
I think Vanya will.
Okay. You would have had most of a long rest, but you're not quite there yet. So Vanya, you relieve Lagon of his watch duties and kind of do the rounds of the camp yourself, while Rune kind of looks like he's in his kind of stasis state where you can tell that he's still actively keeping an eye on things, but he's in a kind of seems like a low energy mode. And so go ahead.
She's just walking around looking.
And Zephyr's up with you, kind of keeping close, but still he's still tired dog boy. And you can make a perception check with double your proficiency.
19.
Same as Lagon, you're able to keep any kind of pests away. You overhear an owl hooting in the distance. There's a bit of a scuffling in the distance, but it doesn't sound very large. Just perhaps a predator found its prey. But you continue to watch vigilantly.
At some point, considering Zephyr's still tired, she would just shoot him away to go lay down with Shay. Keep the youngest one protected.
Which Shay, you notice that after a few hours of sleep, you can feel the rustling of your bundle start to open up a little bit.
There is a moment of panic as she jolts awake and tries to wrap herself like super tight.
And when a bit of a cold snout finds your face, he just kind of licks you and starts to dig at the little crevice that's in there, because he wants to climb into the bundle.
She'll open it just the hair for the nose and just be like, "Are you sure?"
As soon as you
if
open
he
it,
remains insistent.
If you open it a little bit, he starts to like dig his head into there and start to climb in next to you.
Oh, okay. I will try and keep it as like contained as possible. Let him in without disturbing the whole shell, and then once he's in, I'm going to wrap that sucker back up.
And he just kind of nestles in at the crook of your knees, and much like he does with Vanya, and he's out.
And she will just whisper down towards her knees and just say, You let me know before you get up and leave. Promise. And then she'll go back to bed.
But after a couple of hours, Vanya, you can relieve someone you can relieve yourself from the watch, and if somebody else wants to take watch, need like one more.
Darius.
All right, Darius. Vanya goes to lay back down. Zephyr is still nestled in with Shay in her little bubble. This very, very big hill of blankets. And you feel a little lonely without Zephyr next to you in your bedroll, but you fall asleep, and but Darius, you're awake now, taking the last watch. You've had, most of your sleep. Anything you do special for while you're alone during the night?
I quick. Yeah, no, not really. I think the next time I go to town, I'm gonna end up getting some kind of like sketchbook or journal.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Do some writing. But so at this point, I'm just kind of thinking, trying to keep watch and, be vigilant, do the things that Lagan has taught me, but also getting lost occasionally in memories. Yeah.
Make me a perception check.
Natural 20 for a 21.
You find yourself kind of glancing off into the distance, maybe lost in thought for a moment. And when you kind of snap back to what it is that you were doing, keeping watch, the moon is nearly fully on its rotation to go back down the horizon to welcome the sun. The thing that you see kind of just as the moonlight is, getting kind of overhead and getting past you, there is kind of this rustling in the near distance that you see. Kind of bigger than some of the smaller snakes that you've come across. You're muted, by the way.
Sorry, how far away distance-wise?
It's within 60 feet of you, because your dark vision only goes out that far.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, within 120, so it's probably at the edge of your vision entirely.
So it's bigger than some of the other ones. I'm probably Lagan's the first one I'm going to try and like wake up. Hey, snake, big, you eat something.
Are you alright?
I think there's a snake. Big snake. Big.
Lagan will grab his shield and his warhammer and get Darius to show him where he sees the snake.
I kind of pointed out.
And it's about 100 feet away by this point.
Let's see. Okay. Lagan will run back to the fire and grab one of the burning logs to carry with him, and put his warhammer away for now.
And it's kind of a long, kind of thick stick that you have the embers kind of burning still on the end of it, and you start to walk towards it.
Yeah.
Are you waking anybody else up, or is it just the two of you? Because Rune also is awake right now.
Lagan is not really aware of who is or isn't awake right now.
Mm-hmm. He's just walking.
He just got woke up, still probably in the fever pitch of whatever dream he was in. Darius can't really string words together very well, but he's concerned about a giant snake, so Lagan is going to check it out. He's not trying to alert anyone else or wake anyone else up unless he has to.
All right. So what do y'all do?
Like I said, Lagan has his shield and one of the longer sticks that's still on fire, walking towards this snake.
Guess we're going towards something.
All right. You start walking towards the snake or whatever it is, and you get closer, and the embers of the fire is and they're pretty bright, but they're not bright enough to see much of anything, and the fire behind you is starting to silhouette a lot of things. It's getting hard to see. I need you both to make another perception check.
Would I know if these, I mean, not necessarily the giant snakes, but would I know snakes in general? Do they have any, like, kind of natural predator?
Snakes are generally, like, smaller snakes are generally, the, like, hawks and birds of prey would be probably their big predator, especially in this area.
Like, the bigger ones, probably, I wouldn't know.
Probably not.
Okay.
24.
Big birds. So,
giant eagles, giant owls.
Giant rocks.
Rocks.
Larger snakes.
19.
Okay. So, you do see something kind of slithering, kind of towards the campfire. It looks like it's headed in that direction.
That's why I have a stick that's on fire.
All right. Are you just running up towards it, or are you just kind of walking toward it?
I'm going to cautiously walk and keep the stick in front of me, pointed at what I assume is its head.
Okay. I would like you to make an intimidation check.
Oh, lovely. This'll end great.
I've got my short bow at the ready to fire at it.
19. Oh, wait. It's a dirty 20, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, no. That is a 19. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, 19.
Okay. It's hard to know whether or not it's being intimidated by you. It's not sure whether it's phased, whatever it is. And you start to walk close enough toward it. It's still slithering towards your direction, and it is going to make a bite attack. That is a 17 to hit.
That'll hit.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not wearing armor.
Oh, you take your armor
Yep,
off.
I unticked mine leather armor already.
Yes, I took my leather armor off to go to sleep because I don't want to wake up with exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a mechanic in 5e, by the way. Sleeping with your
Okay.
armor does not cause exhaustion in 5e.
Still more fun.
Okay, if I because everything I've read says that you have to take your armor off to sleep, or if I didn't have to take my armor off, I wouldn't take my armor off, and that didn't hit.
Oh, okay. I don't rule it that way. I don't play with exhaustion caused by armor.
Yeah, I assumed I would be sleeping.
I assumed that was the rule, so yeah, I'm gonna say it hit. That's the way I've always played. I was unaware. So yeah, that hit. How much damage?
That would have been 9 points of damage.
9?
Yep.
Okay. Alright.
It kind of snapped at you.
Well, I'm going to try and stab it with my burning stick now.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an attack roll with your strength.
Okay, 16 plus 2, so 18.
18 will hit.
Alright. I don't know what a burning stick does for damage.
Roll me a d4 plus your strength modifier.
Alright.
And count it as fire damage.
Oh, so 6 fire damage.
Okay. Let me pull out something here, because I need a calculator. Well, I just pull up a calculator because... Okay. Darius, what are you doing?
I am got my short bow drawn ready. Seeing him bite out at Lagan, I'm gonna shoot.
Alright, make me an attack roll.
Gonna be 14.
That'll hit.
And he's within 5 feet
He
of
is. You get
Lagan,
sneak attack.
so yay, sneak attack. Short bow. 7 plus 3 is 10 points of damage.
Alright. Let's see. It's looking pretty wounded, so it's starting to back away. Lagan, it's looking to disengage from you and get back into the bush. And it's going to move. It's going to move quickly to do that. So it starts to slither away at about 30 feet.
Toll the dead.
Toll the dead.
Point at a creature, see within range. Dolorous bell fills the air around it for a moment, and the target must succeed on a wisdom save, 13 or higher.
DC 13 wisdom save. Okay. That is a natural 1. What is your damage?
All right. Let's see. That's a D12. That is 10 points of damage.
All right. Darius.
Is this loud enough to wake anybody else up? Just out of curiosity.
It's about 60 feet away from y'all, so probably not.
It doesn't say that the bell sounds fill the air
Oh, I
around
was just
anything
wondering
other
about
than-
combat in general, like the sounds of fighting.
Ah, gotcha.
Short bow's pretty quiet, and spells, unless they're muttered in a very loud sense, are also particularly quiet sometimes too. So
No, all good. I was just curious.
Yeah.
heard some scuffling, maybe.
Let's see. I don't think I have any of my... No, I don't have any of my subclass stuff yet. So, yeah, I'm going to... Can I, as a bonus action, attempt to hide
Okay.
and then shoot it?
You can. There's plenty of trees. You can bonus action hide. Make me a stealth check.
Let's see.
A natural 20 for 27.
You are fairly certain you are hidden. You can make an attack roll if you like.
That is 15 to hit.
That'll hit. Roll
Sneak.
damage with sneak attack.
Three, 6 points of damage.
It is spending its turn to dash and get away from you.
I'm going to take my stone's endurance.
Stone's endurance. What does that do?
Allows me to, well, I can't do that right now. I should have done that for the attack. It reduces damage dealt to me.
Ah.
Can't do that right now, so... Okay, so... I am going to cure wounds. That's what I'm going to do.
And Darius?
And gives me 10 points.
Is it still within 80 feet?
No, because it's slithered away 60 feet. It's now about 120, 130 away.
Alright, I'm gonna roll a disadvantage to try and hit it with the short bow.
Okay. You are no longer hidden, by the way.
Yeah. I'll bonus action.
Roll a stealth check.
That is an 18.
You're fairly certain you're hidden. Roll me an attack roll.
Okay.
At disadvantage.
That is a 13 and 11 naturally, so an 11 and 5 is 16 to hit.
That'll hit. Roll with sneak attack.
Where's 10 points of damage.
It is still spending its turn slithering away, but you are fairly certain that you have severely injured this thing. What do you wish to do?
I'm going back to the fire. I'm not stumbling out into the dark to chase this thing down.
Wouldn't it be more merciful to put it, into suffering?
It's still going to leave a trail that I can follow in the light of day.
Okay. Understandable. I'm sorry. I just didn't think I could handle it on my own.
You're fine. I need to finish my sleep. We can go looking in the morning. I'm sure it will leave a trail anybody here could follow.
Okay. I'll let you go back to sleep.
And knowing what you said now, I'm going to put my armor on and lay down.
Knowing that I woke him up and feel bad about it now, I'm gonna do my little white noise with minor illusion of the waves. Give me a sec.
right.
Wow.
Well, Darius finishes out the rest of the watch. All of you go back to sleep, finishing a long rest. And you are free to wake and do as you please.
So I did complete a long rest?
Yes.
Alright. I wanted to make sure before I removed that first level spell slot and put it back. So getting up, doing my morning routine, saying my morning prayer, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to go to where Darius and I were the previous night and see if I can follow the trail of this snake.
Okay. Alright. So I would like you to make then a survival check.
18 plus 3, 21.
21. It's a pretty easy one to follow. It was pretty badly hurt.
Yeah, he's pretty big too, so...
You see squashed branches, you see rustled leaves, you see blood trails, you see all sorts of things where this thing is, with reckless abandon, just trying to leave this place.
I'm gonna follow. I know if it's still alive, he's going to be in a very, very nasty state of mind.
What are the rest of you doing?
Letting Zephyr out of the cocoon first thing,
He
and then
jumps out with
taking
glee.
my moment. So like she'll let him out and then wrap it back up, and then she'll get out a minute later and start getting dressed and everything.
Vanya's probably just sitting by the fire, waiting for everyone else to get up.
See Lagan go after the trail for the snake.
Yep, you do see him. He's already finished up his morning things and has started following after a blood trail that you see in the ground now, Kinwin, now that you're following him.
Yes, I'd like to follow.
All right. The two of you are following this trail, and then what did you? And before too long, Lagan, you do see that that the trail kind of leads off deeper into the woods, and where you've had, camped in a little bit of a clearing, and kind of leads deeper into the woods, kind of up a tree, and from there, it's a little bit hard to follow.
Is the tree big enough that I can climb?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then I will attempt to climb the tree.
Okay, make me athletics.
Oh boy. Don't fail me now. Well, let's see, 11 plus 4, 15.
It's not particularly hard. It's got some nice handholds. There's one point where you have to kind of stretch to reach the next branch. Someone smaller than you might not actually be able to climb this tree, but
Okay.
but because you have such a length that you do, being 8 feet tall, the reach that you have to grab the next branch would get you up the tree, and you're up in the boughs where you can sit safely and not break anything beneath you. And
Can I pick up the trail again? from here?
Make a survival check. At advantage with Kinwin's help.
Okay. Both are 18. So plus 3, 21.
You see the trail kind of go off into the distance. It starts to let up. It's more broken branches and more stealthy and less bleeding that you see now. But you can definitely follow it for a little while, but you're starting to get into thick brush and forest going off the trail that far.
I'll tell Kinwin where the trail goes and climb back down.
Yep, Kinwin, you're aware of this too because you're assisting. And so it leads into thicker brush and thicker woods and kind of goes off the trail quite a ways.
You can get through a lot smaller places than we can.
Maybe. And as I get back down, when I get close to Kinwin, I am going to put a hand on Kinwin and cast guidance. So, you will have a D4 to add to an ability check of your choice.
During the duration, yep.
It lasts for up to a minute.
Mm-hmm. So, Kinwin, what are you doing? Are you going to go after this thing deep into the woods off the trail, or no?
I think at this point it just wants to survive. I see no point chasing it down.
I'm wanting to make sure that it isn't damaged beyond that. It can heal. If it's wounded beyond what it can repair itself, it's actually more for its benefit to go ahead and put it out of its misery instead of leaving it to suffer. It's suffered enough as it is from the time it attacked and was damaged to now that if it isn't dead, I want to make sure it will either survive or it's not going, whether it will or won't.
We could attempt to heal it.
I could, but do you really want to fight this giant snake again?
We can try diplomacy. I can cast animal friendship.
I'm just trying to check on this thing. I want to make sure it's not suffering needlessly.
I'd like to use nature or survival check to try and see if I could follow his path with the extra D4.
Yes, you can make a survival check with guidance.
$22 total.
22. Seeing as it's less blood now and more along the lines of broken trees or broken twigs and leaves and disturbed foliage and things of that sort. That comes as no surprise to you, though. That's pretty common. It's definitely a a not so difficult task for you, Kinwin, to follow the trail. And it does lead deeper into the forest. You know that you can see that it leads kind of further away from the camp. That it goes for hundreds of feet where you see these disturbances. Including in broken tree branches and disturbed twigs and things of that sort. You suspect that while it might have suffered a great deal of damage, it still had enough fight in it to get out of danger. And so you can follow it for the rest of this time. And, you know, when you come across some things, though, you see that as you follow the trail leading away from the camp, that it started bleeding again. And you see additional claw marks. You see giant talon marks. You see that finally you come across the near devoured corpse of a giant snake.
I don't want to find out what was big enough to take care of this thing.
Agreed.
I'm heading back to camp and the rest of our party.
You do hear a bit of a screech in the distance.
Look out.
It sounds like a bird of prey. A daytime bird of prey. But who knows if it's the big one that you're maybe thinking you're about to run into. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more Rebirth, a D&D tale, shortly, in a few minutes. As there are potentially more than just giant snakes out here. So we'll be back, everybody.
Dun, dun, dun.
Welcome back, everyone, to Rebirth, a D&D tale. Where we left off, our party members have, over the night, destroyed, more or less. A giant snake with Darius and Lagon having chased it off in a bleeding mess. And when Lagon goes to follow the trail that had been created by this snake's bleeding, he finds the bony remains of a giant snake with claw marks, beak marks, talons around the corpse, with sharp, very sharp implements, it looks like, to be able to break bone to get into the meaty center of this snake. And perhaps that screech in the sky was an indication of what else could be living up this mountain. This hill. Not really a mountain, but it's craggy, wooded. The trail starts to get a little uneven around these parts, as if you're going to continue upwards, most who come up this way really only come this far. But there have been occasions where others have gone up, and there's indications of how to get to the top of the hill. But it's a bit more arduous going forward, as it's rockier, the roots are denser, the foliage is thicker. Who knows what else could be living up here in this somewhat, even though the sun has come up, it's somewhat dark going into the deep forest. But with Vanya's help, the difficult terrain isn't an issue. She's as sure-footed as they come, and following her exact movements, her exact footing, her exact trailing, she is able to guide you further up if that is the desire of the party.
But yeah, I think we're like, we found this one crystal, so assumption is there's more.
But it
Might be more information, hopefully, too.
And
Well, we have
Oh, go ahead.
we have been told that the largest of the rocks does have some kind of sentience. It speaks to people, so...
Yeah, so they say. I'm really curious to see if that's true.
Oh my.
Which may suggest the crystals act like some sort of brain, and the more there are together, the more intelligent it becomes.
Hmm.
We'll have to see about that then.
Maybe
Just
the
out of
crystals-
curiosity, as we go to like leave, Shay has no strength, so she's not trying to do anything, but she's gonna like tap the crystal from the night before and see if she can move, like push it in the direction towards the hill.
It doesn't move.
Okay, yeah, she doesn't try harder. She just kind of toes it, doesn't wiggle. On we go.
Maybe the crystals this far out, maybe they're eggs of the bigger crystal.
There's some kind of magic, from what Riba said.
Protecting them. Well, wouldn't you want to protect your offspring? Do they feel
not
like
sure if,
warm at all?
No, they feel like cold rocks, Darius. What were you gonna say, River?
I was just going to say, I'm not sure if that works how you think it
That's an interesting thought process. We'll have to figure that out when it comes time to figure that out.
How
All
would
right, so
rocks
up
make
we go.
offsprings?
I mean, I guess if you split a rock in two, then the two parts are, I guess, technically offspring of the larger rock?
Well, Grandma always told me when a man loves a woman.
Eh.
I'm not sure that would apply to rocks.
That's for, living creatures. I don't think that would apply to rocks.
I mean, if it's sentient, is it not living?
That's a good question. We'll come back to that one too.
Yeah,
We'll
isn't
have to
everything
ask the
mostly just
rock.
made of energy anyway?
We'll have to ask the rock what it knows about this. I have none of these answers.
You've seen some strange things in your day, Vanya.
Let's ask the rock if it is indeed living. That sounds like the most logical thing to do. Logic, we have it.
We should maybe, and this is just a thought, be careful about the questions we ask it. Figuring a lot of people, or maybe not a lot of people, but people who have come all the way up here to ask questions, we don't know if it has any pre-existing opinions about, people like us.
Maybe it's like a genie and you only get a certain number of questions.
Or
I
it tells
hope
you.
so. Otherwise, Shay's going to be there for days.
I have many questions toward myself, says Rune.
Probably not to her extent, though.
I am not entirely certain what you mean.
I believe she means you are inquisitive.
That's one word for
Is
it.
there something?
That's a nice way. of
I mean,
putting it.
is that a terrible thing to be?
Oh, no,
Okay.
you just tend to overdo it a little bit, hun.
Okay.
She just reaches over, pats her on the head.
Says the woman who's visibly older than her.
Of course. Just smile.
River
starts
just
walking up.
puts a hand on Rune's shoulder. Senor, you do not discuss a woman's age.
I'm merely stating a fact.
I know. I'm telling this for your own good.
Do you not discuss your own ages?
It's a tough, touchy subject for women.
What he means is societal norms say that women don't discuss their own ages.
How curious. That must be an empire thing.
Anya just shrugs.
Moving onward. And Rune starts to walk forward, taking the front of the marching order again.
Vanya's
Onward.
gonna follow with Zephyr.
Shay is behind her.
Lagon will fall in behind Shay.
Bring up the rear.
And then Kinwin and River are behind Lagon.
Good spot for us.
Alright. And so you press through. Lagon and everyone else now can hear that screeching from way in the distance above.
Lagan's gonna keep an eye out. If it's big enough to eat that damn snake, it could just rapidly get rid of one of us.
Just keep walking, just keep walking.
And you do. And eventually you start coming across larger crystals that are still not as large as the one at the center. And the one at the center almost seems to, when you reach kind of the top of this hill, you get there about midday, and it seems as if this crystal has created a sort of structure with a kind of hollowed out center, or a not grown center. Kind of as you walk in, and when you take your first steps into this little alcove, you realize that the steps are that the ground is made of stone, and when you sweep a little bit of it away, it's a stone floor, like worked stone.
Do people live here?
We weren't told as such.
I mean, how else would worked stone get here? Like, somebody had to work it, right?
Lagan is gonna cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay. And what does that let you detect?
It is aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet. And if they're in that space, know where they are. And know if there is a place or object within 30 feet of me that has been magically consecrated or desecrated.
You would know that this stone floor is a consecrated place.
Okay.
To whom you're not sure, because it doesn't really give you an idea as to that, but you do know that this place had a special purpose at one point in its existence. The stones that are set in this place are obviously a little bit overgrown with dirt, and grasses, and as if some of the nature underneath it has begun to retake it. But the crystalline structure surrounds it.
Right. Is it growing straight out of the stonework floor?
From the cracks, yes.
Okay. And there's no iconography of any kind that we can find or perceive?
Make an investigation check.
All right.
Yeah, so we're at the big crystal now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a natural 20. So 20.
My guy, that's 4 today.
That is for today. Watch the natural ones next time. Or very soon.
So, taking what you know, this place, kind of dusting some of the ground, or some of the dirt away from the ground. It's not severely overgrown. It's actually where it's maybe just a dust layer over the top, and as far as the dirt goes, there's plants that have come up and kind of squeeze themselves through the crevices in the worked stone, But when you kind of dust some of the dirt away, you can see markings in the floor. And you dust more of it away. You follow the lines of these markings, and you kind of look at it, and it's not something that you're familiar with. It seems older. Maybe not older than the gods, but ancient.
Could I do a religion check on it?
You can if you like.
I was going to ask, does it appear to be a language of some kind?
20. Dirty 20.
And when the both of you kind of go over what the religious iconography could potentially be, it's not familiar to you. You've heard tales of the religious tales of the creation of this world. How the fabric of the world, the earth itself, was created by the Wild Mother, and she gave it life. And that her enemies, the destroyer gods, corrupted her creations, hers, Pelor's, and Moradin's. That those corruptions then became dragons, giants, and death. And this place, while seeming consecrated, seems to be a place of devotion for one of those titans. Now, who, you're not sure. It could be one of the destroyer gods, but who knows anything about the destroyer gods? They're not widely and openly religiously followed. Some places they're outlawed.
So, in the meantime, while they're kind of doing that, I think Shay's just gonna put a hand out on it somewhere. And she'll try the, put a hand out and be like, "Hello?"
On the crystal structure itself?
Mm-hmm.
You put your hand out and you say hello. And there's a bit of a glimmer that starts to kind of pool around your hand. The rest of the structure doesn't glimmer like that, except in the sunlight. But you're in the shade now, and it kind of glimmers around your hand.
I pull it back. Did it hurt? Or
No.
is it still glimmery?
No, it didn't hurt you. And the glimmer kind of just, from the place where you had your hand, starts to fade away.
Didn't do anything to my hand?
Nope.
Okay, I'll touch it again. I won't say anything this time, though. The same thing happen?
No.
Hello?
It starts to, where you put your finger one more time, it starts to pool around your finger again, that little glimmer.
All right, I'm gonna hang it there. just See what happens.
Almost
If
like
anything.
fireflies in the crystal, it starts to glimmer, kind of. Almost as if the glimmer kind of is investigating your finger curiously.
All right, I'm gonna let it do its thing. I ain't gonna interfere. I ain't gonna make any loud noises. I said hello. I'm gonna see what happens. So that's just what Shay's doing right now.
Who else is doing what?
I would have moved over to Shay to see what she was doing. Do I see the glimmer at all?
Yes, it is clearly visible.
She's gonna put her own hand on it and see if the same thing happens.
I had to say hello, and then she goes back to focusing on what's happening.
Yep, when you
For
just
herself.
put your hand there, nothing really happens for the moment.
Interesting. Hello?
And when you say hello, you're... It's almost like part of the glimmer that goes from Shay goes to you and kind of encircles your hand a little bit.
Interesting. Very interesting. She's just kind of looking up at the rest of it, just studying it.
Interesting. You hear echo through the whole place.
If Lagan is through with his investigation, he will do the same thing. The whole time he's saying prayers to Melora to protect them and guide them through this.
You guys have
Shay's-
mentioned.
Oh no, go ahead.
Would you guys have mentioned the betrayer gods? Of what he was saying earlier.
Important to mention.
Yeah. Would Grandma have told me anything about the betrayer gods?
She would have told you a lot more about Ouijas instead.
Okay.
And how it's rumored that Ouijas was the one who defeated death and brought death low to its knees and took its place. But now she's abandoned everyone. In sort of a story kind of way. Not necessarily that she said anything much in the way of factual, just it sounded more like a fairy tale.
Bedtime story or something.
Something to spook you, maybe. Because there was Ouija iconography in the orphanage for a long time before they decided to pull it all out.
Okay.
What would Lagan know of the betrayer gods or the
Roll me a religion check.
Okay.
You know the common scripture, but let's see if you know more.
19.
You know about the same as Kenwin does. That's
Okay.
that story about how the world was created and how the destroyer gods betrayed the creators and
Okay.
corrupted their creation, creating titans.
After saying the prayers, can you talk?
Yes.
With his hand on the stone.
Yes, you hear a very soft and gentle voice repeat to you.
How long have you been here?
I don't know.
Do only people with their hands on the stones hear this?
It's very soft, but it's kind of localized around them. So make a perception check if you haven't really, since you're not kind of close, Kidwin.
14.
You can hear a soft voice. What it's exactly saying, you're not sure, unless you get closer.
I'd like to approach and put my hand on it as well.
As it
What?
says,
But
I was going to say, as it's doing this and says it doesn't know, can you count the sunrises or the moonrises since you've been here?
I've lost count.
what are you?
I don't know. Usually people don't ask me questions about myself. They ask me
Yeah.
about the weather.
We just happen to be a curious bunch. We like learning.
Shay cringes a little bit, but keeps her mouth shut.
What do you want?
Did coffee freeze?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So still.
What do I want? Are you going to give it to me?
Depends on what it is.
What is it?
All of the glimmer that has surrounded each of your hands kind of starts to revolve more around Shay. You're unique.
You said there's a door in this place? Like, there's a door?
There's an opening to the alcove, yes.
Oh, it's not. It's an alcove. There's no like place to go.
There's no actual door. It's just kind of like a crystalline like structure that kind of covers this round kind of stone floor beneath a bunch of dirt and grass and kind of overgrown.
Okay, so it's not like a hallway that goes anywhere.
Nope.
Okay, then she
There's
just
just
kind of
outside.
takes one step as it's talking, kind of away from the group. It doesn't say anything further.
Well, you're not touching it anymore.
Oh no, I'm still touching it. Like I just like slide away.
And the glimmer seems to follow exactly as you start to move. It's been a long time since I've seen one like you.
Like what?
And now she'll drop it. You know, human people, obviously.
Insight.
I'll roll deception.
Yeah,
Roll
I
deception,
want to insight
Shay.
that too.
Roll deception, Shay.
24.
So, that's your difficulty.
Fuck. 11.
I'm good at two things.
I think
13.
what's sad is I'm actually proficient in insight, and my dice just said no.
Since she's the only human in the group, you suspect that that's exactly the truth.
Insight. 24.
Ooh. Now, with a tie, Usually in Vampire, it's a meets it beats. But in Dungeons and Dragons, I think
It's also it meets it beats.
meets it beats.
Mm-hmm.
Meets it beats. All
the
right.
it goes to the attacker, not the defender.
Meets it beats then.
Yeah.
You can see the slight rise in tenseness that Shay has in her. It's very subtle. She's very collected. It's almost as if you can. It's not like you can peer through anything, but there is that slight little tense up that she makes, but then it's gone.
My insight was more when she said human, the way she said it. Did she mean she's human, or was she lying about it? Was what I was wanting to insight.
That's where that little bit of tension comes in. That tension comes in with the word that's with when she says human. The slight little shrug seems innocent enough, but it's a
wipes her hands off her, like where the glitter was, kind of wipes it off.
Ask the stone. What type of questions of the weather do people normally ask you?
They ask me for my predictions.
Predictions?
You see, I can see through time. The past, the present, the future. Dunamancy.
Is that a word I've heard before?
Nope.
Any of us?
Nope. Nobody.
Who was the god that was worshipped here?
No god. An artifice. A titan.
What titan?
Dradith.
Dradith?
Isn't that in the country?
That is the name of the continent, yes.
Is it spelled the same as the continent?
I do not know your language.
Dradith was the titan that was here before. Correct.
Yes.
Are all of the stones in this area a part of you?
They are what bind me.
The stones bind you to this place?
Yes. I need them removed.
What is your name?
I don't remember.
You are
If
free, what will you see?
If I were free,
Baby.
baby. I do not know. Perhaps
Do
you
you
should
remember?
find out.
if
Do you
you can
remember who bound you here?
The Wild Mother. Suviwa.
Why did she bind you here?
Perhaps you should ask her.
if you
Should
can
not be here.
But you must. You must. I must
you
be
can-
free.
if you
And
can if you can see past, present, and future, can you tell your own fate?
No, it doesn't work like that.
Can you see your own past?
No.
And if we don't free you,
Then I will be left here to suffer.
How are you suffering?
The drolling on of each day.
called life, my dude.
It bores me. I'm tired of it.
Do you want to die?
To die. To become one with oblivion. Not if she still reigns.
She? She who?
The mother of ravens. The Reaper.
Okay, given what I would know considering how old I am,
Mhm.
would I know if it's referring to Ouija's or someone else?
You know that Weejas was deposed, and the person, angel, entity, now goes by the Queen of Ravens,
Okay.
and is also called the Reaper.
Lagan is going to step away and take his hand off after having heard Melora's name and that Melora had a hand in ending whatever this is.
Seeing Lagan step away, I would probably follow.
As would Vanya.
Wait. Come back. Where are you going?
Lagan is going to step outside of where he thinks this thing can hear and reach, and begin praying to Melora for guidance.
She's not going to put her hand back on, but I assume, obviously whatever this is can still hear her. There are things that need to be discussed before we do anything. And she's going to
serve the wild mother.
And she's going to follow Lagan out.
And so, you...
All as well.
So the 7 of you are now outside of this little alcove.
Lagan has sat down and started praying. Quietly praying.
Are you casting a spell of any kind?
No, he's fervently... I don't really have a way for channel divinity to do anything other than to turn or destroy undead. That's he's solely focused on Melora for guidance into what this is and what he should be doing. The guy that sent us out here wants us to remove these binding stones that are keeping this thing in place. Lagan doesn't think that's a great idea at all. If Melora bound this thing here, it's bound for a reason. Removing these stones is the worst idea possible.
Roll me a religion check at disadvantage.
Oh, yay. 16.
Whatever this is, it's ancient. Thinking it over in your mind and reaching out to Melora. While she doesn't reach out and speak to you directly, as you're praying, a thought kind of goes across your mind. This is ancient magic.
Right.
From long before any of the arcane schools that you know of came into existence. And if it's powerful enough to bind whatever this is, you're right in that there's a reason. But that reason isn't revealed to you.
Right. With that knowledge, I'm going to look to these others. I don't know what this is. I don't know why it's here. But it has been bound here for however long it's been bound. It's lost its memory of concept of time, apparently. We have no information on what this is, but there's no way for us to remove these binding stones, and if we do, who knows what we're unleashing.
This is where I was kind of saying, like, we should get paid for the information, not just the samples, but
we can't remove those stones. There's no way. Not without some very powerful magics that I don't think any of us have access to.
So the guy that sent us here was a gnome, correct? So what, if anything, I mean, is there, I know there's not a whole lot we know about gnomes, but I mean, any particular connection to not good things? Would Grandma's told me anything? Like,
You know that a lot of them were either relocated themselves out of Uct or were never heard from again. And that particularly saddens Grandma because she was particularly fond of one in particular.
but so theoretically, like nothing. I don't know. I'm just trying to make that connection of, is this just the guy has genuine interest in obtaining knowledge, or is there something more sinister?
Well, you know that gnomes, from what Grandma told you, are incredibly inquisitive. But that was based off of the one that she knew. And most of it turned into mischievous hijinks between the both of them.
Would I know where there might be a library or something with information that might have information on what this is that goes back this far?
The largest known library in the world is in Fallfire. And that's weeks away. And that's by airship.
Hadn't we talked about going to another library to get some information about this, though, that was a little closer?
A little closer. It's not nearly as big, but it's a next big city.
How
I mean,
away? How far away is that?
Several days by boat.
what is Rune, like, how is Rune reacting to any of this?
Rune seems to have just been jotting down notes. He didn't make any attempt to touch it. He didn't make any attempt to talk to it. He is just making notes.
Yeah, I'd like to do another walk around, just kind of an investigation, just to, make sure there's nothing that, like, we missed. I'm not touching it, but I want to just, like, have a thorough look around the area while we're deciding what to do next. While they're deciding what to do next.
Okay, make an investigation
Is
check.
the glow that, like, happens when they're touching and it's like coalescing around them, is that similar to the glow we see that happens on Rune at times?
No, that's more like
Okay.
an interior kind of from the inside kind of glow. This is more of a shimmer, like a glittery light that kind of just swells in the location where the character's hand was placed and had they talked, and then it kind of swirls into different colors, kind of like a firefly kind of effect. But Runes is more of an internal, persistent glow.
Oh, like a life force almost.
Yeah, it's constant.
Okay.
It's not flickering or
Yeah.
glimmering or anything like that.
Okay.
16.
16. You kind of go around the perimeter and kind of circle this large kind of crystalline fortress in a way, because there's points that jut out and meet other points and create this kind of almost building structure in this alcove kind of thing. And it's, when you circle it there, it's definitely jutting up out of the dirt. You can see points where more of that crystal seems to lie beneath. And you kind of wonder if this dirt was forced upward by this crystal because of how it's kind of sits in this place, that maybe the craggy rocks are more of this crystalline structure. I hear a lot of moving around from you, Mojo.
Sorry.
And so you begin to wonder if this is how part of the island was made. That this particular
Like it's
set of hills,
that kind of, yeah, it's like that kind of like ingrown, like the roots of a tree type
kind of lifting of the dirt, yeah.
design. Okay. And
That
there's
the dirt
definitely
might
no like entrance into anything deeper or anything along those lines.
Nope. The only opening is around this. Around this round, kind of worked stone, kind of circular shape. With ancient runes. Not really runes even, just designs.
Did we go into that circle just out of curiosity?
Yes, you did.
Or were we like hanging out? Okay, so
Yes.
she'll go back in there too, and just as part of the overall looking.
And where Lagon had swept away some of the dirt, you do see patterns that look kind of like they might be magic circles, but they're not in a design that you're familiar with. Or that any of you are familiar with. But do you get, Shay, this little bit of a creepy crawly feeling on your skin?
Nothing particularly alarming inside?
No, just a creepy crawly feeling like you hate at night.
Okay, yeah, she will walk quickly, but not trying not to be alarmedly, but she will walk quickly out.
Lagan will walk back into where he was brushing away, and as best he can, copy the designs that he's seeing.
You and Darun would have done so. So, you now have a copy of that in your possession.
Okay.
Yeah, Shay just shudders and joins everybody else.
You okay?
Yeah, just feel a little weird. That's all.
I mean, we just encountered a giant talking crystal that is apparently wanting free. So, I know the feeling.
Yeah. Well, yes.
It was bound for a reason. Why it was bound, I don't know.
I mean, I think our options at this point are returning to our benefactor, informing him of what we've found, and unfortunately not being able to return with any samples for good reason, but
anybody that removes these stones is unleashing something far older than we've dealt with or can or are capable of dealing with.
I definitely think it's not worth the 5 gold to bring about what this could potentially bring about.
No, definitely not.
We know so very little about it. Still,
We still need more information, but
We
if he's,
know more than they do.
I'm not saying we don't, but I'm also saying if he's possessed of enough determination to get his hands on these, he will find somebody that will do something to remove these crystals somehow.
Oh, well, and also if we remove them, I'm not sure, I'm not a geologist, but, I wouldn't wonder just a little bit about how ingrained this structure is into the island itself.
Seems to be growing out of the island. At least from the cracks of these stones.
But also
Well,
with our
it's the island.
with our benefactor, at least from what I understood, I think this was more knowledge. Yes, he wanted some samples, but in the end, I think with the knowledge of this is deeper than you think, he might leave it alone.
Coffee, is it safe to assume that, based on Shay's background, that if somebody wants something and they have the means to get it, that they're likely to do what they can to get it? Like, that there are some people that are very much like that, no matter what?
It's pretty prominent as a personality trait in a lot of the Greoran Empire, yes.
And she will just say, I wouldn't be too sure of that. Depends how bad he wants it and what means he has to get it.
I agree with Shay.
Kind of looking over at Rune, because Rune didn't like it when she implied less than scrupulous things towards him, so she's just like, it could. Could. It's a possibility.
How well... Lagan is asking Rune, how well do you know Ormond?
I have worked with his guild for a number of years now. He seems of meager means, if that is your concern.
His means are not my concern. It's how driven he is to have access to this. How driven he is to get somebody to procure these stones for him. And in doing so, remove whatever binding keeps them in place.
Yeah, or even not these specifically, but just how driven in general when he wants something.
He is an inquisitive man. He seeks knowledge more than material, in my opinion. He's not driven to madness by coin or by power or anything of the like, or even fancy an adventure. He is not a man who wants to get his hands dirty.
So, do you believe if we tell him it's not in anyone's best interest to attempt to remove these stones again, he will leave it alone?
With sufficient enough proof, I suppose. And enough witness account as the 7 of us here, that might stand as proof enough. I have been taking copious notes.
I am aware. Did you hear everything that the stone said?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Good.
No, I don't like it.
Okay, so you heard that it was associated with a titan and that the gods bound it here in this place Those stones are binding stones. That is why they cannot be removed. No matter how strong you are, you cannot remove them.
That was my assumption, yes.
Okay.
Well, I think we have sufficient information.
Let's get back to town.
Yes, that's...
That's a long way away.
Time of day is it?
It's still around midday.
Okay. Sorry, I heard you roll dice, so I'll wait.
Keep going.
Well, I will say there is something that I would like to do when we're about, if we're leaving about 200 to 300 feet away from the hilltop.
Mm-hmm.
If something isn't happening before then.
Nothing in particular.
All right. So yeah, when we get about 200 to 300 feet away, Shay kind of wounds a bit. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not really feeling that well. Could we maybe rest here? For the day.
Look, Gon is going to walk up and do a medicine check on Shay.
Yep, do a medicine check.
As is Vanya. Because
Can I roll deception?
Yes.
Okay.
because Vanya's been traveling with her for a while. Like, you're not feeling well. I am now concerned.
All right. 16 plus 6 for 22?
10.
23.
Something's weird, Lagan. Something's off. She seems... Yes, she's saying the words, "Can we rest here for a bit?" She seems tired. But you get the sense that maybe she's trying to hide some of the tiredness.
Let's see.
And Shay, you don't feel like yourself.
Lagan wants to
I'm not
detect.
entirely lying.
Well, Lagan is going to cast Detect Poison and Disease. He will take out a yew leaf.
Does that require touch?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's in a
It's
surrounding
30
area.
feet.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, because
No.
she'd be a little squirrely if you were trying to touch her.
No, it's from me
within
to
a
30
surrounding
feet.
area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Concentration up to 10 minutes. Sense the presence of poisonous creature, disease within 30 feet. Also, what kind of poisonous creature or disease in each case.
There are no poisons in the nearest vicinity, and there are no diseases in the near vicinity.
Okay.
So she's not suffering from a poison. She's not suffering from a disease of any kind.
I need to sit down. Sorry. And she'll take a seat somewhere.
Lagan, do you think you can carry her for a little bit? We can push
Yeah.
on further.
Yeah, Lagan will just pick Shay up and carry her.
All right. She doesn't argue.
I
But
want
she
to get
remains
as far from that crystal as we can.
Lagan figured that was why and has no issue with that at all.
Thank you.
Like
Thank you.
sitting on the shoulder, fireman carry, on top of the
I mean,
head.
Okay, it actually does matter
no,
whether
no,
Shay
no.
thinks you or not.
Oh no. Lagan is literally just holding her in his arms.
Like Princess Carrie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she'll pretend to sleep.
You have a very, you definitely are feeling that squirrely feeling that you get before sleep.
Yeah, pretend. Like, how bad?
Like, you're not sure how long you can keep going.
Ooh, okay. Nope, that changes things. I'm looking to jump. I'm suddenly way more lively. I would like to leap out of Lagan's arms and run off into the woods.
Lagan is going to follow her. This is
So
not.
Vanya.
Same.
Run into the woods and
We're
hide.
running.
Okay, then
Action dash.
action
I'm
dash.
pretty sure. Yeah, well, action dash and bonus action dash. We are running into the woods. I'm pretty sure Darius is the only one who can keep up.
And I am going to try.
And at some point, you will be spending your bonus action to hide.
Yeah, it depends how much of a head start I have on Darius. If I have no head start, I'm gonna try and duke him. I'm gonna try and lose him.
Okay.
So yes,
Roll
I
initiative.
will at some point.
Roll initiative. That will determine if you get a head start or not.
Okay.
Is that all of us that are following Shay?
Dark Wolf says in chat that River can dash and feline agility after her.
Okay. Then he and Darius will be able to keep up with her if they all use their dash. So
22.
So as soon as you leap out of Lagan's arms, you both would be just about neck and neck. You don't really have a head start in that way, Shay.
All right. I will try and duke him if I can.
Okay.
Like, take a sharp turn and like come to a sudden stop and hide.
Okay. Then I'm gonna call for a stealth check, and Darius, that's gonna be perception for you.
Not that kind of rogue. Nope. What'd you get, Darius?
19.
I got 7.
You're not able to successfully juke him. You can keep going, or you can...
Shay, you can trust us. What are you doing?
I'll be back. Just, I need a minute. And she'll run off again.
No, I'm running.
Okay. Roll initiative again.
Dice hate me.
Oh, we love you. We
18
just
this time.
hate the chase.
I got 19 again.
He's on your toes. He's on the...
So who's with us at this point? Like, racing through the woods?
The two,
River's doing me dirty.
Since the two
You,
of...
River, and Darius.
Yep. You...
So,
River,
but I
Lagan, and Vanya
I
falling
believe-
somewhere behind.
River's
Lagan
feline
is too.
agility, after a certain point, like, she has to spend a whole turn not moving after she uses the feline agility.
Yeah. River's going to be following closer behind than the rest, but all of you are going to be able to follow if you dash relatively
Is she
well
close
enough.
enough to cast Entangle? Because she said in chat she wants to cast Entangle to slow me down.
Let's see. What does... Let me look at Entangle, because I hadn't really thought of putting any active things going on with River, with Darkwolf having already dipped out for the day.
Also, can I roll something to see if I still have it under control?
That will be... I'm going to call that a Constitution check. Because it's going to test your composure.
Yeah, we're running and I'm freaking out, so.
90-foot range on Entangle.
90 foot on Entangle?
Yeah.
Because River doesn't have that on his sheet. I don't actually have it pulled up.
Yeah.
Entangle. 90 foot.
Have
Strength
0.
save or be restricted.
Oh, that's the perfect thing.
Well, you're having a very difficult time keeping your composure.
Yes,
And-
because that is a 4 on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Then I need you to make a strength saving throw.
And Iwu says she had it prepared, just didn't have it copy pasted. Just had the tab open.
Oh, okay.
So that's an 11 minus 3.
So that's an 8. That does not beat the DC for River. So River's got you entangled. Unless you can successfully save out in an entangle spell. So
What's the DC?
DC for River.
I just want to see if I can actually beat it.
River's save DC is 12.
Okay, I can with anything 15 or better.
But it's gonna be less than a turn before everybody kind of catches up with you, Shay.
Yeah, and Shay's not exactly Shay anymore.
No, instead you see, what do they see?
Translucent white skin, no hair, barely a nose, smile, a mouth that is a little too wide, eyes that are a little too dark and a little too small, and the frame is still about the same, spindly but kind of translucent white skin, hairless, barely a nose, a little bit too big of a mouth, and tiny black eyes.
Do I know what this is?
Well, I know what this is.
Everyone roll a history check. And I'll roll one for Rune and River.
And
Let's see. You said history?
Yep.
As they're getting close, do I have enough time to attempt one save? Because I feel like she would struggle once to try and get out, but after that, she's just gonna...
Yeah, make another strength save.
Okay.
DC 12.
17.
Natural 20. And also seeing this, it's a what the fuck?
7 again.
Shay?
So she's like, yes. I'm sorry, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. I promise I'm not a monster. I promise. I'm still me.
I never thought you were a monster.
I think I'm a monster. This is monstrous.
It's not the outside that matters.
It's abnormal, of course, but you're not a monster.
If I went out like this in a town, I'm pretty sure they'd string me up like a beast. I would like. You mean if you like this face came along in the dark, you wouldn't shank it first and ask questions later?
I'm not that kind of person, but is this why you use so many blankets when you sleep?
Yeah, because I can't keep it up while I'm sleeping.
So who had above a 20?
I had a 20, natural 20,
Natural
with no
20.
modifier. Yeah, no modifier.
Okay.
I had a 10.
I only got 17.
A thought kind of goes through your mind, Darius. You've heard of things that can adapt and shift their shape. Grandma called them doppels. But those were smaller than Shay. Those were made to go extinct. Maybe she's a descendant of them?
Guys, I really think your spellcasting is really cool, but could I promise I won't run. Can I please?
And
She's so wrapped up and entangled.
and
Insight on if we think she's gonna run or not.
Yeah,
you can run an insight.
insight.
I'm almost certain she's gonna run.
Before, so let's just say I was following behind at a slower pace and just like come upon you guys now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
So you said you don't know what this is, but do you know? I mean, were you born this way? Did something
Adopted.
happen to you?
I was adopted. I am Shakron La Vista. Was adopted by Arsara La Vista, Phoenix Wonder Prize. I don't know anything outside of that. I'm not lying, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Just
easy
so
to
you
say
know.
that see that she's telling the truth and she knows it.
And this has always happened to you? You've always been this way, and
I got a glimpse of it in the mirror one time when I was real little, like 4 or 5. I didn't know what to think about it. It's a freaking monster in the mirror. Like, you're that monster. What am I supposed to think? I've been hiding it ever since. Like, I can't stop it when I sleep, but otherwise, I've got it under control. I'm still
River is
Shay.
asking, have you never discussed this with your adopted parents?
Of course not.
Not
They
make
have
you
no idea.
do your actions do.
There's only, well, now 1, 2. You know, she can count. I can't count. Now there's 8 people in the world that know. 2 of my siblings know. One of my older brothers and my younger sister, but also
And-
adopted.
do any of them, are they afflicted with this?
Senorita, you need not hide. River says.
You don't have to hide from us.
We are all friends.
Well, I like to think that, but you just want to make sure. I mean, like I said, I don't know what it is. I don't like it. I wish it wasn't the case. I'm pretty sure I'm cursed. Like,
I have detected magic and I detect no curse.
Lagon kneels down like he's talking to Shay in the form she prefers to take. You have nothing to fear from me.
can I like not put a shape back on? Because like as soon as if she could,
You're
she
pretty
would try
tired.
and put a shape back on.
You're
Okay,
pre-
if
you're
she's
pretty
too tired to
tired.
do it, then yeah.
You're pretty tired. It felt like you had to really try even harder in that alcove.
Yeah.
And you kind of ran out of juice. Which has never really happened before.
Vanya is going to look down at Zephyr, see what Zephyr thinks of what is going on.
Zephyr's just kind of looking around curiously, kind of looking at Shay, and kind of just nuzzles up against her if she's sitting down.
So, assuming she's been released,
Yeah.
Yeah,
she doesn't run. I will say she stays a little bit flighty. Like, she's still not, like, she's not running, but, she looks like she's ready to at the first sign of
actual
danger.
I'm going to use Beast Bond
Okay.
with Zephyr. That lets me establish a telepathic link with one beast you touch as friendly to you or charmed by you. Spell fails if the beast's intelligence is 4 or higher. Until the spell ends, the link is active while you and the beast are within line of sight of each other. The beast can understand your telepathic messages to it and can telepathically communicate simple emotions and concepts back to you. While the link is active, beast gains advantage on attack rolls against any creature within 5 feet of you that you can see.
Alright. Cool beans. Beast Bond is active.
And obviously, touching Zephyr and how Zephyr's feelings with this revelation.
You get the sense from Zephyr that he doesn't feel any different. This is Shay. Smells like Shay. Talks like Shay.
Hey, it's Shay.
It's Shay.
And Vanya's just going to take a seat next to Shay. Oh, those
Lagan is still there. You're still you, regardless of shape.
Well, and like she's definitely visibly uncomfortable. It's not so much you guys anymore at this point. It's the fact that she is still this, as because I see River. We all have things to hide. She's just like, I know, but this.
Lagan will take his bedroll off and cover you.
Oh, thank you. She'll wrap it up so just her beady little eyes are poking out. And she'll say, I wanted to tell you guys, but it was just like, when's the right moment? I don't even have answers. It's just something. But I will say, like, this, and I'm sorry I kind of freaked out and ran away, but it was like getting, I don't even know how to quantify it. It was like getting shaken out of my human self.
Did whatever was contained in the rock do this to you?
I mean, admittedly, I didn't get a weird feeling until closer to the end when I was doing my last walk around. I'm curious to know what it has to say, since it seems to know what I am. But it was not a great feeling in the alcove, and then, like, the further away we got, it just got worse, and this has never happened.
I think going to the library, there's some research I would like to do before. I've heard of tales of something similar to what you look like.
Do you know how to get rid of it?
I don't, but maybe in researching, we can find something.
I've tried looking, like looking at books, sneaking books in the library, but I haven't found anything.
Your mom had a vast library, from what you remember. And then there was an even bigger one in Colcaster.
Yeah. But that's just Colcaster, so.
My mic was muted, I didn't know it.
Where is the closest library?
You know that there is a decent-ish sized one in Bellemere, which is a couple of days away. But the most extensive library known to exist is in the Fallfire University.
Okay. I was talking about closest.
You would know that library is not extensive. It's fairly small comparatively.
Okay. I would know that it's not a very extensive library that's close, but Fallfire University has the most extensive library.
Kinwin, when they talk about that kind of thing, and when you're looking at Shay and reminded of some of the iconography you even wear, you suspect that Bellemere might not have what you need, that it's more in Surefall Glades. You know your guildmaster has an extensive library that she guards.
Should go back to my home, Surefall Glades. There's a vast library that might have knowledge of this.
Do I know where this is?
Nope.
It's a small village in
In the country of Argyll.
In Argyll.
Twilight Grove Forest.
Figure this out.
I'm sorry, guys, for having a freak out. Like I said, this is kind of new territory. I did not expect it to come out not on my terms. But usually it's fine. Usually it's fine.
You're fine, Shay. This is just a part of who you are.
Town's not like the town. I would still appreciate if this stayed between us.
Of course.
Because like I said, I've read a lot of books about heroes killing monsters, and I appreciate y'all's sentiment, but
Lagan still kneeling down, tells you his hammer is yours. He will protect you with his life if necessary.
And since it is not a curse, River says, then there may be others like you. You know, doing research might help us find those answers. Especially if we go back to Surefall.
And we are the heroes. We're not killing you. So...
We may also end up finding out why this happened outside of your control.
Well, and it said a very interesting thing. I wouldn't mind going and talking to it again, but it was saying also, like, anything that's been imprisoned sounds like it should stay imprisoned. This is a general rule.
It said it hadn't seen one of you or your kind in a very long time.
Which means it's seen one. At some point.
Yeah, was that before it was imprisoned? Or after, which it can't tell us how long it's been here. It's forgotten how much time has been trapped in this stone.
I mean, I'm happy.
Why it was trapped.
Yeah.
From what I know of, at least the thing that is similar, they were driven to extinction. Maybe you're a descendant of these. They were called doppels.
Do I recognize that term?
Roll a history check.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, I mean, actually, I don't think I could. No, because that would sound familiar. So, never mind.
I'm about to change this dice out because that's another fucking 10.
17.
You kind of rack your brain a little bit, Lagon and Vanya, and that's not a familiar word to you.
The imagery on my vestment is doppel.
And he kind of shows you this tree on the back of his cape, of kind of a tree giving life.
Is the tree eating people?
Tree of life, from where all life springs.
Yes, I think we should go and
We
try to figure this out.
We need to give the information to Ormond that this needs to be left alone, but yes, we need to make our way to Argyll.
Yes.
You know, the Anne Bonny was headed down that way in a couple of days.
We need to try to make it back to Seameet before the Anne Bonny sails, if possible.
Is that the town we were just in?
The town that we left on our way out here.
The jellyfish.
Where the jellyfish ate the barmaid's
water?
brain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
With the Bilgewater Tavern.
Okay.
Yeah. We need to try to get back there as quickly as possible. I know that the Anne Bonny will be selling in a few days to Argyll.
Let's go. We can keep Shay wrapped up and probably head out the second we hit town. Travel for a few hours at night.
Yeah, she'll put her hood up and stay as wrapped up as possible. But I think we're still a day away from town, so she's not too concerned. She's hoping she'll be able to rest and, you know, that it's just exhaustion.
Just stay behind me. I should be able to
Aye.
block the view of most.
All right.
I'd like to use a nature check to see if I can find any special mushrooms.
Special mushrooms for what exactly?
For a hallucinogenic ritual overnight.
Oh, okay. Make me a nature check then, yes.
And just for the record, that is super cool. I love that.
22.
22?
Yep.
All right. You scour through the woods with even some of Vanya's help, because she's collected some things for medicinal purposes. She hasn't really had a reason to stop and pick up the hallucinogenic ones, but she's able to help you find which ones are safe. And you're of course familiar with ones that are safe, especially in the kind of coastal regions that you're in. And you know, you pick up a few that you know would be really good, even if they went a little dry before you know it was time. And so when the seven of you come to the same clearing that you had stopped on with the on the way up, you settle yourself down, Kinwood. And what does this ritual look like? I'm not hearing you.
Consume the hallucinogens and then meditate in nature, try to commune, see if I can make contact with the land,
Okay.
and try to, just get any information about the crystals or anything at all.
You're not the right level for a true commune with nature spell, but I will allow a religion check. At disadvantage.
And
A 10? You consume your hallucinogenics. You kind of allow yourself to really kind of let this concoction that you've made in overtake you. You allow the errant thoughts that come about from it, the images, the sounds, they are jumbled. There's not a whole lot of sense that comes about as a result of it just yet. You do what you can to really focus in on, the word doppel and the imagery on the back of your vestments and the wild mother herself. But all you really get are your own personal experiences that come back to you. The bestowing of these vestments to you from your fellow clanmates. The pilgrimage that you're on, and the separation from yourself and your wife. You two went your separate ways. A fork in the road. And you find yourself at the end of the concoction that you find yourself missing her. You miss the sight of her. You miss being able to hold her. And you kind of dwell on her and your memories and your years together before you both went on your pilgrimage. And it's really kind of where your heart kind of sits for the remainder of this little vision quest. You think about her and what she's doing. How is she? Is she okay? I haven't heard from her since she left. I really miss her. And the rest of this little vision quest kind of lulls you to sleep with your dreams filled with memories of your wife. Maybe even a little tear kind of coming down the side of your face. And I think that is where we're going to end the session for tonight. Thank you all so much for playing.
Mm.
Woot woot.
thank you for running it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you guys coming.
Love to play.
Yeah.
Also, you give me those strings, I'm gonna tug at them.
Yeah.
Little
great.
heartstrings.
Freaking great. I will say though, I am good at deception and persuasion, and that is it. And I was foiled both times.
But it's fine.
You're welcome.
But it's fine.
Yeah, let's hear. I'm proficient in insight, and just said no.
And then Mojo got 4 natural 20s. He stole them all from you.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh. Two. I got one for initiative. I got at least 2 natural ones today. 2.
I think the lowest thing I rolled was an 11.
Mojo's got good dice juju.
Yes.
No, I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
need to have
send you my
sessions
dice.
with
You
mine.
rub on them a little bit and send them back.
Give them love too before I roll and after, as long as they don't,
Go to Dice Jail.
I'm more than willing. I offered all of the serious dice because without any of those, I still have another handful of dice and I can't hold them all in one hand.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember.
Oh, she's garbling on me.
Maybe that first initiative would have mattered, and I have inspiration still.
You garbled up on me, so I didn't hear anything of what you said. So.
I just realized that, like, the natural one in particular for the first initiative, I have inspiration, and I could have used it.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll see if I can remember the next time. No promises.
Here's hoping. But
here's hoping.
Now that we've concluded the session, we can move on to some experience.
Yay, experience.
So, we're gonna call, of course, give the 5 for showing up to my 6 players who did. So that includes Darkwolf, because they were here for a little bit of that. So there's that. And then for the information gathering today, I'm gonna say another 3 for working towards the quest. And having a new goal in mind, because you're gonna get back to this. You're gonna get back to Sea Meat.
Yep.
And then now we're gonna go into the roleplay categories where we get those bonus experience. And I'm gonna start the poll for the audience so that they can vote on their favorite too. But who moved the plot the furthest today?
I want to say Shay.
I vote for Shay.
She was the first one to touch the crystal and speak to it. So kind of
I
started
have to
that
admit, I
entire
like touching
process.
things. I do like touching things. Fun stuff only happens when you touch things.
The
We've
inquisitive
noticed.
nature we keep teasing you about.
Well, I thought it was hilarious. Oh my goodness. When, like, you just chastised Shay about being too curious, and then you're like talking to the crystal. We're curious. We're inquisitive. We like to learn things. And Shay's just like, I literally just got chastised for this.
That's exactly why
It was
I said
great. I loved it. It was perfect. That's why I made a note to let you know. Yep, nope, she heard you. She heard you loud and clear.
There's a time and place to be curious.
But also, thank you guys.
But yes, we have the poll started. Since Rune isn't here, we're gonna leave him off of that. But Darkwell says, I think Lagan pushed the plot more with some questions they brought up about the crystal. So Darkwolf thinks it was Lagan, but the rest kind of think it was Shay.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Either.
I'm going with Shay. Shay
Yeah, I'm going to
pushed.
Shay because while Lagan had a lot of questions about and to the crystal, Shay's kind of the one that got that process started, reaching out and touching the crystal herself.
Well, Shay, you get that experience then. Who had our best scene?
Or throw my hat in there, having Zephyr push Shay towards Darius for the dance.
That was
I think just the dance scene in general, I think was hilarious.
mm-hmm.
Especially
Between
Shay's fumbling over her feet kind
Oh
of
my god.
spread to Darius, so
yeah, straight we dropped to then pretty much the same thing of I got dropped.
Well, and it's funny because like your character doesn't look not dapper, so it's like shit, made a fool of my freaking self.
So we're going with Shay as the initiative
Vanya?
on that one? Who are we going with?
I wanted to throw my hat in there for the whole my hammer is yours.
Ooh.
I will protect you with my life if necessary.
Oh, that's a pretty good line, though.
That'd
it
be a
is.
good quote.
Yeah, that is a good line. That's actually a better line. So, that dance, the dancing was.
Can best scene go to multiple people?
Darius started that with the 2 left feet.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I didn't have that bad a time dancing.
I think
Nope.
To pull some shenanigans here, can we like do a roll, see whether we all get a point for that scene, or
we can do a roll-off.
I think the dancing scene, which involved everyone, was great.
I
so
didn't
everyone
say.
should
I
get
mean,
a
can
point.
multiple people get from best scene?
I'd be willing to do that. Pitch it to me.
I mean, the ones involved in the dance scene.
Yeah.
I think the scene in general of just the
Darius-
dance.
Darius mentioned 2 left feet, and I took that and said, that's dancing, related to dancing. And then Kinwin, I think,
River.
said something, or River, somebody said something about if only we had some music. And then Vanya started playing, and then Vanya nudged Shay into Darius, and then...
and
River
River
and
asked Lagan.
Mm-hmm.
River and Lagan started dancing, so
Yeah.
Okay.
and then they switched partners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just with some more hilarity.
So we want to go the whole group then.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 I'll give the whole group one. But in the future, whole group is going to be a roll-off. There's going to be a high call or low call.
I hate
Oh.
those. I hate those.
Okay.
Oh, I love those shenanigans, though.
We'll take what we can get.
That's kind of why I mentioned the roll-off anyway. Like, I love those shenanigans when they happen.
It's true.
Mhm.
It's true.
Well, and the roll-off is fun because it's always fun to be the devil's advocate.
It's always an all or
Everybody's like,
nothing.
hi, I'm gonna
yeah.
say low, just because.
I always go low, and I'm usually the odd man out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like to switch it up, probability, statistics, and all.
For coffee with VTM, he wants it to be unanimous,
If you were,
and
if
I'm almost never agreeing with them.
I
Do
know
the
it's on
opposite
Sundays,
just
we tend
because.
to go
Yeah.
a high clan high unless we know for sure it's gonna roll low. Wow, I can't talk today.
yeah.
Yeah, just if it's always rolled low, that's when it's gonna roll high.
That's the thing, we never know with Derek's dice.
Statistical
We don't ever know with coffees
probabilities.
either.
Nope, we
We
don't.
don't ever know with coffees either.
And
The
I
only reason why Artemis got like a dot in melee
have real dice.
was because I've had said something and Derek was going to let him roll. Wolf pulled some mod bullshit. And so that roll for her melee dot went to Ive. And so I'm like, he's been rolling low all goddamn day. That's how she got that.
Right.
Yep.
Hey, thank you so much for the follow. Frosty Dill. Love it. Love that name.
Mm.
But, yeah, we're just finishing up over here. And so we have one more roleplay point of experience to give out, and that's our best line.
Gone.
I'm throwing my
Gone.
hat in for that.
Yeah,
That hammer.
I like the hammer. I will also, just to throw it in there, I like the 2 left feet line.
Just as a consolation prize, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nope.
Don't forget, we still have the poll going, so exclamation point and the name of the character that you see on the screen for voting for who you think makes the best character for tonight. So yeah. Yep. And Darkwolf agrees. Lagan for line. So Lagan, you get that extra point of
Yeah.
experience.
Woot woot.
Yay!
Almost halfway to level 3.
Yes. Yes, we do experience it a little differently than most D&D games because experience is arbitrary and I'm the DM, so there.
At the end of the day, not wrong.
I love the incorporation from VTM where the cast gets to vote on what they enjoyed the most.
Right.
Yeah. I like
it.
that.
Love to see it.
That I love that point, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm incorporating that into my own game that I run, not on stream.
Yes, exclamation point, vote Vanya. Vanya is how you do it. Yep. Yep. So be sure to get your votes in because it's going to be closing up here pretty soon.
Yeah, and I saw Black
a
Wolf.
minute left.
Thank you for the vote, Black Wolf.
Yes. We have 1 minute left, y'all, and we only have one vote in, so get your votes in. Exclamation point, vote, and the name of the character as it's written on the screen. So that's how you'll do it. And
It looks pretty good. Yeah. I'm loving this.
Yeah, so am I.
I'm glad you guys are loving it because I like this game already. You guys are great.
I love that it's out already, but Lagan knew something wasn't right with Shay.
From
the stone.
There
Something's
you
not
go,
right.
Rad.
Human? No.
She at least thinks she's human. She thought she was cursed.
Lagan doesn't know what she is, but that reaction and that role, he knew something wasn't right, and human was not what you were from that reaction.
All right. Well, the poll is closed. And Shay, you get that bonus experience from the audience today.
Cool.
Congrats.
Guys, thank you.
They like
So
you.
nice. That's
Like ya.
nice. Thank you.
No worries. So, yeah, that concludes Rebirth for tonight. We're gonna go and raid. Let me actually see.
Derek is still alive.
Derek is still alive, so I am gonna go and raid him. Get your raid emotes ready because we have them now. So let's go raid our good friend Macabre Derek. He's doing some art. I think it's a D&D character too. And so let's give him some love.
Yeah, it's actually one of my characters
Yeah.
for a different game.
Love it.
Yes, I have a Tabaxi Barbarian.
Oh. That's one I haven't seen before.
All right.
Raised by adventurers.
Love it. Love to see it. Well, thank you guys so much for coming along on our journey. We hope to see you back again next week with the session 0 of Austin by Starlight on Wednesday next week and more Rebirth on Thursday. So, stay tuned. Give us a follow, like, subscribe, all of that. Whatever it is you do. And we'll see you next time. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Come on.